Today's Talk About It Tuesday question is, should I keep more than $1,000 in a checking account? Love this question because now it shows that people are being very strategic about not only how they spend their money, but also how they store their money, and the best place to store it to maintain or to grow its value. So let's look at what a checking account is. A checking account is your transaction account. It's the place that you use to pay expenses. That's it. That is the sole purpose of a checking account. The place where you take your money and you pay your expenses. Now, in the past, you actually had to use a paper check. And today, most transactions are done digitally. Very rarely do you have to use a paper check, which means it's super easy not to overdraw on your account. And I think the fear in the past was I don't want to get overdrawn, which still should have been difficult with paper checks, because if you're not being sloppy, let's be real, if you're paying attention, you know exactly how much money goes into your account and you know exactly how much goes out. And if you record that in the old days in your checkbook, or today, if you just pay attention by looking at your account online, then you should never worry about being overdrawn. So if being overdrawn is not the issue, then why in the world would you keep $1,000 in a checking account? So if you have a budget, which you should, and you have a good idea of what your expenses are, you have fixed expenses that don't change every month. So you have to have that amount in your checking account. Then you have variable expenses that could go up or go down every single month. But you have a good idea of what the range is, right? Some bills go up seasonally. Maybe your utility bills, maybe electricity, water, heat, or maybe those things go up during certain seasons and come down. But even then, you know what the swing is. So you don't need higher than the normal swing. So you have your fixed stuff, you have variable with a little cushion. After that, you have your bank fees if your bank charges you a fee for using checking. And then why would you keep $1,000 there if there's no incentive for it? Most checking accounts do not give you interest on your checking, and the ones that do give you extremely low amounts of interest. And so to store extra money there doesn't make sense. So I wouldn't even keep $1,000. So forget keeping more than $1,000. I would have exactly what my fixed bills are, an estimation with a little cushion of what my variable bills are and what my fees are, and then maybe $100 extra just so you don't go down to zero. That's it. And the reason I say that is all extra money should be earning money. So if you had $1,000 more than you need, then again, if you leave $100 there, maybe $200, if you just feel super comfortable with $200, like I said, I don't think you need more than $100 extra there. You put the rest, if it's an emergency fund, into a high interest savings account. And you can find a high interest savings account if you go to bankrate.com or nerdwallet.com, and you can scroll through and find out a place that gives you the best interest rate on your extra money and there's no such thing as extra money, on your emergency fund that you need quick access to. And again, because we live in a digital world, it's nothing for you if you had to come out of your checking account for you to transfer that money in an instant. You can transfer that money from that account to your checking account. So it doesn't make sense to save it in a checking account. It's not a savings account. Any money beyond once you have a certain amount in your emergency fund should be invested somewhere. So should you have more than $1,000 in your checking account? More than you need? Absolutely not. Should you have $1,000 extra in your checking account? Absolutely not. So if we want to be strategic and think about the best use of our money, that account, again, is just for transactions. So maybe a small cushion, just because some things vary. Anything over that, you'll be able to transfer money from another account. Everything else goes from your emergency account to a certain point, because that should only have a limit, and then everything else should be making you money, should be going into some type of investment. So great question. I love the thinking. Be strategic with the use of your money, the storage of your money, and the growth of your money. I'd love to hear your comments. Please like, share, subscribe, keep the questions coming, and I'll see you next Tuesday.